What's up guys, Barry Gaming here, back with some more AFK Journey, and today we're also going to be talking about skill power. And some of you guys may or may not know what it's about. It's been an ongoing learning experience because we haven't had too many things adding skill power to our heroes to really worry about it. However, with the new magic charms we've been talking about, skill power becomes very powerful, especially in some very specific niche setups. And today we're going to mainly highlight heroes like Brutus, even talk about other heroes like Shakir that really do seem to get a good bonus from skill power, and why we want to prioritize it as this season goes on, because as you know, we still have like over 2.5 months to go, essentially, maybe even still close to 3 really, of the season. So we have a long time to farm up these magic charms, and this is going to be pretty important, potentially even for AFK battle pushing. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. Hit that subscribe button. Let's talk about skill power. So if you're lost about what we're talking about, quick little recap for those of you guys who don't know. When you come into heroes and you take a look at their abilities, most of them have a % of attack or some sort of percentage in green numbers, followed by a blue with like a side head shaped brain type thing. And when you click it, it says increases this stat with each point of ultimate power gained, while other ones are also for skill power gained. Essentially, ultimate power affects your ultimate ability, whereas your skill power affects your first and second non-ultimate abilities. I don't think I've seen anything that affects anything else besides just these two, but these are your main attacks on the majority of heroes. And now some of these are a little bit important. So when we do talk about this skill power, this number can change. And in certain situations, if you're using a hero like Shakir, a lot of time you care about that lupine aura, which is basically giving each ally within lupine aura, granting him additional attack. And then of course in heroes like him, where you go to Mythic Plus, he can then also at +10 give allies within that lupine aura the same attack bonus from this Wolf's Will. Now this is where it gets kind of cool, because not only are they getting this 5%, well, if you do get a bunch of skill power, that's additional skill points, upwards of over 50% additional attack bonus that you can use in this situation, which is pretty cool. There's other things here too, like increasing just the raw damage output too. So heroes like this, it sounds cool, it kind of is cool. It's not a huge change. There is one hero though I want to talk about, and that is Brutus, because it really doubles down on what this hero can do. When we take a look at his skills, this is one hero that has an interesting thing where you'll actually notice the skill power icon on other abilities too. Again, most of the time you don't see them here, but on some occasional Supreme Plus, it does matter too. And we're mainly going to be focusing on Indomitable. This is his ability to go immune when he takes his first fatal blow hit. So it reads, Brutus is immune to the first fatal blow he receives, then is immune to all damage and becomes unaffected for 5 seconds. And then it has this +1 based on skill power. You're like, okay, that's not bad. So if you do something like we are collecting charms, you can get some of them that have ultimate strength. You have other ones here that have physical defense, and then you have other ones that have skill power. You'll actually notice there's a thumbs up too. These are kind of important ones because they do list skill power here, and this is going to make him very strong. Be careful when you're using this system and you want to change what magic runes you have on. You can only change a magic rune once a day. Why that's the thing, I don't know, but it's a thing. So essentially what you can do is you can get 3 of these. You can get one in the left, kind of like more offensive stat. You can get it here as well. There's both of them for the middle one, and there's both of them for the right one. So in total, you can get HP, you can get haste, whatever you want. But the most important part here is we can get up to +3 skill power on Brutus. Now, why is that important, and why is it like, I guess I have to save because it's not gonna let me save. Why is that important? Well, like we said, we look at this skill, we get +1 second for every skill point. So we go from having a 5-second immunity and vulnerability where we have that bubble up and we're buying time for our back row enemies, and we're increasing it by an additional 3 seconds. That's cool. Going from 5 to 8 is awesome, but no, it's even cooler. If you do actually invest in Brutus, which some people have, you get him to Supreme Plus. His Supreme Plus Enhanced Force says the duration of damage immunity and unaffected status from Indomitable, which we just talked about there, is increased by 1+1. So if you just have him at Supreme Plus, by default he's going to have a 6-second invulnerability, but skill power is where this starts double dipping. As we said, this is going to be a +3, so that's going to be 8 seconds. What this does is another 1 plus another 3, meaning this hero can be indomitable, it can be unstoppable, immune to all damage for a total of 12 seconds. I don't know about you, 12 seconds is an extremely long period of time in battle, especially when you're using Brutus and other heroes that you might be trying to get a quick ultimate off with Coco. This can really be a time saver. If you're going up against a wave that is just brutal, we always talk about how Brutus is an amazing one hero copy, but in situations like this where we want to run a Brutus to soak as much damage at the very beginning of battle, and then we're doing some interesting combos like Cascade in combination with Coco, and then we actually have him behind Freyasto, which is not going to be something you do, but we're getting the extra energy boost. You can notice even in his current state that shield pops immediately, and then he starts going down very quickly because the battle ticks very fast. But the second you get that fluffy shield and that defensive power onto your Brutus from your hero, it makes a huge difference. It makes Brutus basically go from pretty much being very at risk of dying within that first initial 6 seconds to literally doubling the amount of time he is buying for your team. And he's going to be able to soak a ton of damage for your squad to the point where you might not even need an actual traditional tank hero, especially if you're running a crowd control combo, maybe an Aaron Arden team like that, where you don't really prioritize even any healing. Like in here, we don't really have healing prioritized, anything like that, but we're essentially doubling the length of time that he can go invulnerable, and that is just absolutely crazy. So finding more abilities like this could be really big, and of course it could have some that have some crazy effects with, you know, ultimate power. I haven't quite seen any yet. This is like the biggest advantage I find so far of skill power gained. The other thing skill power can do too is increase the amount of time like crowd controls work, things like that. One of them is like Alsa here. Most of skill power is going to just straight up increase either damage dealt or some sort of buff to your own hero, but sometimes also increases the length of stun. Now it's not huge, like Alsa stun is 2 seconds plus 0.25, means you can only get it up 0.75. It's not a huge amount, and probably on a hero that might not want it as much, they're not going to prioritize it, whereas they're going to try to tell you what the best stats overall are. And it's not a horrible guess is what the system is doing, but again, you see very few heroes that have additional type abilities that have effects from it, so just keep that in mind. Have you come across any other really cool abilities like Brutus's? Let me know in the comments down below. We'll highlight it, we'll see if we can actually focus on it and get those charms for that hero and see how it actually works out. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. Maybe now you know a little bit more about what skill power does in AFK Journey. I'll see you guys next time.